Robbery outside Green Hills Mall ends with the suspect dead miles away along a busy interstate. How this all unfolded.
A barber fighting for his shop. The unanswered question he has after getting the boot from his landlord.
A difficult case to crack.
Half the crime scene drove away.
Renewed focus on Franklin's only unsolved murder.
Last week's deadly midair collision leading to arrests. The charges at least 2 workers face tonight.
And unearthing Nashville's history, the role MTSU students are playing. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
And we begin tonight with a Code Red weather alert as we are just hours away from some strong storms moving in.
Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan here now to talk about the greatest threat that we could see with this first round.
Yeah, potential for a couple strong thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and into the evening hours. I think a lot of things are going to have to go right, quote unquote, in severe weather world for anything to form. But the potential is there, although a low one. Wind and hail and even a spin-up tornado risk is there. The atmosphere has just enough spin, it looks like, for tomorrow that we could find a few rotating storms. But again, I would say that we're looking at just a couple here or there. A lot of us will be getting by with scattered showers. Some may not even see rain at all, so it'll be scattered across the area. The latest severe weather outlook does put us in a level 1 out of 5. So again, 1 being on the low side, 5 is the highest threat possible. And I would go ahead and include our southern counties here, all of Middle Tennessee and southern Kentucky, a small risk for a strong thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. Timing looks to be after about 3 p.m. into about 9-10 o'clock tomorrow night. Things are quiet as of now and still fairly mild. We're sitting at 50 degrees. That is our average high for this time of year, and it's 9 o'clock at night. So we had another mild day today. We did reach 65 degrees this afternoon, and we'll be looking at the mild weather to be with us. And I know this time of year, especially that warm air and the talk of thunderstorms can cause a lot of anxiety, storm anxiety. So again, want to stress that this is a low threat, but it is something that we need to keep our eye on as we move into tomorrow. Here's a look at the radar. Nothing to talk about right now, but this is going to be the source for a few thunderstorms as we get into the afternoon tomorrow. So mostly cloudy skies, a couple pop-up showers around as we go through the afternoon. Even in the morning, a few showers possible, but the better threat for a thunderstorm or two will be in the afternoon. Low temperatures tonight in the upper 40s here in Nashville, low 40s up towards the Kentucky border. We'll talk more about timing and we'll walk you through an hour-by-hour forecast for the future track coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Scott.
Katie, thank you. Now to Operation Crime and Justice as we are learning more about a robbery outside the Green Hills Mall today that ended with one of the robbers getting killed. Metro Police have just identified the other suspect. They say scuffled with a shopper before speeding away.
Well, officers have not identified the other suspect who died. That man, the driver, ended up being shot before crashing a Tesla along busy I-65. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live from Green Hills, breaking down this complicated series of events.
Scott, Megan, Metro Police say one of the suspects is dead following a scuffle during a robbery outside of Green Hills Mall, which is right down the road. Shoppers and employees are now on edge.
This is really crazy because I come to this mall.
Anxiety for shoppers after Metro Police say Tuesday in the parking lot of Green Hills Mall, a man was coming out with high-end shopping bags before being robbed by convicted felon Omari Moore. They say he had an accomplice.
And it makes me uncomfortable to want to walk across the parking lot, especially after dark, because this incident happened in the middle of the day.
Police say it happened around 2 in the afternoon, an hour after Megan Garrison started work within sight of the crime.
There are 10 plus Metro Police cars all in the parking lot. All of our mall security guards were out there. There were 2 different sections in the parking lot that had been marked off with caution tape, and it was very scary.
Metro Police say the passenger of a Tesla, Moore, got out and tried to rob the victim, who didn't want to give up his items, leading to a fight.
After the bags were secured, the Tesla pulls up, the passenger gets back into the car. The shopper comes alongside the car and we can't see exactly what that interaction is or the details of the interaction.
Metro Police say the car sped away with the driver shot before it crashed into a tree along the I-65 North entrance ramp from I-440. They say the driver is dead. Officers say Moore got out of the car and was later arrested. In the meantime, shoppers are concerned.
If I'm going to spend $1,000 on a Gucci purse, I don't feel like I should be, fearing for my life.
Moore is being charged with aggravated robbery and unlawful gun possession by a convicted felon. Police are still investigating how the driver got shot, and they are still looking for the shopper. Reporting live here in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage as Green Hills Mall is seeing issues and has seen issues in the past, especially when it comes to crime. In 2023, Metro Police say a high-end theft ring continually targeted the mall's high-end stores like Nordstrom and Louis Vuitton. This continued into 2024. Late last year, Metro Police also arrested a man accused of carjacking a woman. You can see all of our coverage on these investigations at fox17.com. Just search Green Hills.
Continuing Operation Crime and Justice as Metro Council tonight reconsider allowing Metro Police to use private security cameras in real time for policing. This measure was up for a critical second reading before Council tonight. The Fusus computer program, as it is termed, allows business owners to voluntarily give Metro Police access to their cameras. You may recall a similar bill failed late last year over concerns the cameras might somehow be used to find illegal migrants. Now, supporters say there are safeguards in place to prevent any kind of abuse.
This system, we want it to do exactly what it's supposed to do. We want it to solve crime and take the offenders off of the street.
I see that programs like Partners in Care, staffing at the library, staffing at the community centers, programs for youth, the Office of Youth Safety, those are the kind of programs that really protect the public. They create places for kids to go.
Metro Council still debating that program. If it passes tonight, the plan would still have to pass one more vote before going into effect. Obviously, this is a talker, and we've been talking about it for months. We want to know what you think right now. Should Metro Council approve the use of private cameras for policing? 172 votes in, 61% say yes, 39% opposed. Poll's still live right now if you'd like to get in on the vote. Just scan the QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. It will take you directly to our X page, and we'll update the results later in the newscast.
Well, new tonight, tensions rising as Meharry Medical College and Nashville General Hospital have different visions of the hospital's future. Fox 17 News' Madeline Nolan shows us how an expired physician services agreement is fueling the flames.
This could have future implications for patients, physicians, and even taxpayers here in Nashville. But the feud is really playing out in the public eye, with both CEOs exchanging strongly worded letters to each other. However, the dispute centers around the physician services agreement between both Meharry and Nashville General, a contract that outlines physician roles and then also compensation. That agreement expired nearly 2 years ago, and Metro Legal says that operating without it could potentially lead to a violation in federal law. But Nashville General CEO Joseph Webb told board members an agreement still exists, even though he acknowledged that it is expired.
Both parties continue to operate within the guidelines of the PSA. Now, if there are some things that we need to change, we can do that, but we're currently working on developing a new PSA with Meharry.
But Meharry president and CEO James Hildreth disagrees. In the letter to Webb, he accuses him of stalling PSA negotiations, misusing taxpayer funds, while also pointing out the lack of transparency around the number of patients Nashville General serves on the daily. All claims that Webb has not directly responded to. Mayor Freddie O'Connell is now urging both sides to resolve their differences before any further discussions on a new hospital can happen. In Webb's letter to Hildreth, he asked for a sit-down conversation with him next week. However, Hildreth has refused, calling it a photo opportunity for Webb. We have reached out to both parties and will continue to follow up on this story. But you can head over to our website, fox17.com, for all of those future implications and more. In Nashville, I'm Madeline Nolan, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
A barber fighting for his shop, why he says he's in the dark about why he's losing his building.
And working to do away with the U.S. Department of Education, what it could mean for your child.
This Fox 17 News Code Red Alert is sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.
I built up a good clientele, and to give that all up and or not give it up and have it taken away is just horrible, you know.
In the economy tonight, an old-fashioned Green Hills barbershop being forced out, and the operator says he didn't get any real explanation from the owners of the building.
Well, in the past few years, we've seen staples like Donaldson Bowl, McCabe Pub, and Mafioso's Pizzeria shutting down their doors. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin speaking with the barber tonight.
The barber says this week people were in here measuring and checking for water and electricity, but ultimately he hopes Lipscomb University lets him stay right here.
Tapered block in the back.
70 years of serving the community inside a 320 square foot space, now on the verge of being gone.
And the usual.
Right across the street from Lipscomb University sits Joe's Barbershop.
It's got some history here in this little place.
Joe Eagles has owned the barbershop for 10 years, but received a letter from Lipscomb University, the owners of the space, letting him know they would not be renewing his lease. Joe asked for the university to reconsider, but says they have plans to use the space for something else.
It provides my life, provides my insurance. You know, I told him, I let him know I was diagnosed with kidney disease. And, you know, without my source of income, I lose my insurance and I could have issues down the road.
Not only that, but Joe has 2 teenage boys to take care of. Joe's been trying to find a new space for a year now, but hasn't had luck. The spaces are too big for him, and he can't afford that.
Sleepless nights, it's been horrible. You know, I worry all the time. It's affecting me, you know. Nothing I can do about it.
Fox 17 News reached out to Lipscomb University to ask about the decision to not renew the barbershop's lease. A spokesperson says in part, the decision aligns with plans to renovate the space for Lipscomb's evolving needs, and says the tenant was given plenty of advance notice for planning purposes.
We take all of our trips to the mountains.
The lease officially ends on April 30th. He hopes all of the community support will put some pressure on Lipscomb to reconsider. Reporting in Green Hills, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, let's talk about the weather. We were spoiled for several days, and then the bottom sort of fell out today. I know it got up to 60. It didn't feel like it to me.
65.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
It felt colder. I mean, just me or you
and
guys
I was
too?
expecting warmer, like yesterday.
It was 60. Well, we were talking about 65 today because it was in the 70s the day before, and yeah, we expected about 65
I think the absence of the sun makes it
really
feel
does make a difference,
cooler.
doesn't it?
Somehow
For
gloomy,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. Tomorrow, we're looking at, I'd say low to mid 60s, but more so we're worried about the chance for severe weather. So let's take a look real fast here at our outlook for tomorrow. We are looking at a level 1 out of 5 threat, and it's kind of hard to see with this map, but it cuts off right here. I'd go ahead and include all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. What we're looking at, damaging wind, hail, and the potential for a spin-up tornado. There's just enough rotation in the atmosphere that we have to include that tornado risk. It doesn't mean that we're expecting widespread tornadoes across the area. Timing still looks to be in the afternoon, around 3-4 o'clock through about 9-10 p.m. Here's the tornado threat for tomorrow to kind of break it down a little more and explain what it means. Right now, we've got this circled green area here, and that's the lowest risk of tornadoes on that scale. So we're looking at a 2% risk of a tornado tomorrow. What that means is that there's the probability of a tornado within 25 miles of a point. So let's say the point is your house. Within 25 miles of your house, there is a 2% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile radius. So again, it's a fairly low chance still, but it's not a 0 chance. It's something that we want to make sure that we're at least aware of going into tomorrow afternoon. 53 our temperature at 10, up to about 62 as we head into the afternoon, and looking at showers and thunderstorms, it'll be around, I expect, mostly cloudy skies for much of the day, kind of like what we had this afternoon, and maybe even a stray shower as we go into early Wednesday morning. We are looking at the potential for a few more showers heading into the afternoon hours. To the south is where I think we're going to be looking for a few of these stronger storms in the afternoon, early part of the day. Here's 12 noon, and notice as we head deeper into the day, we're looking at more showers and storms in our southern counties. I would still put all of us in that small risk for isolated damaging wind gust, maybe some hail, perhaps a spin-up tornado. But as we get deeper into the night here, 7, 8 o'clock, and even closer to about 9 o'clock, threat should be done with for the night. Thursday morning, we're going to do it all over again. We've got mostly cloudy skies around, a couple showers around. Temperatures will be a little bit warmer for Thursday. So as we head into the afternoon, I think we're going to be looking at yet another chance for a few strong thunderstorms as a front finally pushes through the area Thursday night into early Friday morning. So the next couple of days, we're perking up a little bit as far as activity goes. The chance for showers and thunderstorms, and temperatures remain quite mild for us. Remember, perspective on how warm we are usually this time of year. The average high is 51 degrees. So 65 and 70 degrees is well above average for this time of year. Future rain as we go through the next couple of days here. We'll stop this around 11 p.m. So the first batch of showers coming through for Wednesday. A couple tenths of an inch may be possible. Some higher amounts easily possible in any of those thunderstorms. And then as we go through Friday into early Saturday morning, perhaps another couple tenths of an inch of rain. So overall, not expecting a lot of rainfall, not going to be expecting flooding concerns, just some scattered showers, rumbles of thunder, and maybe a stray strong thunderstorm for the afternoon and evening into Wednesday. We'll have a look at the active weather that continues as we head towards the weekend. Coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Is the Department of Education next up on the DOJ chopping block? I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the story coming up.
Not a crisis in the classroom tonight, and the future of the Department of Education. When running for office, President Trump promised to do away with it.
That's right, a lot of talk along those lines. Fox 17 News' Matt Galka tonight to show us where that stands, and you can let us know what you think by scanning the QR code that will appear on your screen.
It's been a key campaign pledge from Donald Trump since 2023.
One other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse.
The Wall Street Journal reports the president's administration is preparing to do just that, crafting an executive order to start dismantling the Department of Education. The department was created in 1979, but is now an apparent target of Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency. More than 60 employees have already been put on paid administrative leave. Republicans have also long sought to end Washington's influence over education around the country, usually targeting alleged indoctrination through topics like gender and race.
It puts Washington in charge of what's taught to our kids. I think education ought to be a state matter, and even better, a local matter.
The order reportedly will target parts of the department that aren't protected by federal law. It is in charge of billions of dollars of funding that goes towards things like low-income education, serving students with disabilities, and enforcing civil rights law. Congress would need to pass a bill in order to fully abolish it, and one has already been filed. Teachers' unions are already pushing back.
The move is not legal in that even they recognize that there are lots of things about the Department of Education that are in statute. Let me just talk about the most important things. The money that goes out for kids with disabilities, the money that goes out for kids who are low income.
President Trump already signed separate orders related to education, targeting diversity programs, expanding school choice, and combating anti-Semitism. Meanwhile, his pick to lead the department, Linda McMahon, has yet to have her confirmation hearing scheduled. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code linked up with this poll asking the question tonight: do you think President Trump should sign an executive order to eliminate the Department of Education? The results here on your screen: 1,066 people voting tonight. 77.2% say yes, 22.8% say no. Thanks for voting.
Just ahead, Unearthing Nashville History, the project giving MTSU students a unique opportunity.
And getting ahead of the curve, the research working to prevent brain illness instead of treating it after the fact. Fox 17 News remembering Black History Month as students at Middle Tennessee University unearth more Nashville history surrounding Fort Negley, the fort built during the Civil War by people of color. Joining us now to talk about the project is Dr. Andrew Wyatt, professor of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology at MTSU. Dr. Wyatt, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, students are working along Bash Street at the base of Fort Negley. What is the significance of the Bash Street area?
Well, so the, Fort Negley was constructed by African-American workers during the Civil War. And those workers all lived around the base of the hill and on the sides of the hill while they were constructing Fort Negley. After the war, those individuals remained on the hill. They built houses, they built a church, they started families, and this area became, at the base of Bass Street there, became really one of the first Black neighborhoods in Nashville after the Civil War.
And what discoveries have students made today in modern day history?
Oh, well, at Bass Street, we have found many artifacts. People were living there from, right after the Civil War and up until the 1960s. The neighborhood was mostly, obliterated essentially by the construction of the interstate system that came through there. So what we're finding in our excavations are, just the lives that people lived, the things that they used, the plates that they ate dinner from, all sorts of aspects of just their regular everyday lives and how people lived throughout that entire time period.
Wow, those artifacts certainly tell a story. How do projects like these impact the community?
Well, I would say that what it does is it really helps us understand a very important part of the history of Nashville. There are, many aspects to Nashville's past. And in this case, what we are learning about is the importance of these Black communities in the history of Nashville and how important they have been in the essentially the development of Nashville as a city.
All right, Dr. Andrew Wyatt, thank you so much for the history lesson tonight.
All right, thank you for having me.
In health news, millions of Americans have brain diseases and disorders, and in many cases, doctors still don't know what causes them or how to prevent them. But a recent study using healthy adults may provide some new insight.
Brain diseases and disorders include Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, strokes, and epilepsy, but researchers say the root cause of many of them still is not fully understood.
Therefore, we cannot come up with any therapeutic or any treatment for most of the neurodegenerative disorders.
That's why Dr. Ahmad Najam with Cleveland Clinic launched a large-scale brain study 3 years ago, hoping not only to help treat these diseases after diagnosis, but also to potentially prevent them.
We are looking at the body and the brain before the disease happens. And this is what we call the silent phase.
During that phase, Dr. Najam says changes in the brain begin to happen years before symptoms start. For this study, researchers enrolled nearly 3,600 healthy adults over 50 with no known neurological disorders, or a healthy adult aged 20 and up with a family history of multiple sclerosis. They'll undergo testing and be monitored over the course of 20 years.
The ultimate hope is to find out what we call therapeutic biomarker. One of these changes could be a target of development of a new medication or repurposing of a medication that's already approved.
Researchers say many neurological diseases have similar traits and patterns, and that's why they are hoping this study will help to uncover ways to prevent multiple illnesses.
In our Code Red Alert, as we track the potential for a couple strong thunderstorms going into tomorrow. And again, it's conditional on whether or not all those ingredients come together. Regardless, we'll be looking at some showers and a few thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon hours. Even this evening here, we're dry, but looking at fairly cloudy or low cloud deck that is over much of downtown. Now, we'll time out when we can expect those showers to push through. After lunchtime, expecting rain to pick up outside of a stray sprinkle as we go through the early morning hours. The better chance for a strong thunderstorm will happen after about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and linger as we head into the early evening hours, more so even to, I'd say, about 8, 9 o'clock at night. So that's going to be the time that we are watching for a couple strong thunderstorms. And of course, more will be possible as we head into Thursday and going into the weekend as well. We'll talk more about that, timing it out in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Right now, breaking news involving the U.S. Postal Service. Leaders there have just announced they plan to temporarily suspend international inbound packages from China and Hong Kong until further notice. That could impact your orders coming into the country from popular discount online retailers like Shein and Temu. Letters and flat mail, we're told, will not be affected. This decision coincides with President Trump's plan to impose new tariffs on products coming in from China.
News tonight, the African American Clergy Association gathering in Nashville focusing on faith when it comes to navigating tough issues. The group asking for lawmakers to work together, putting aside their differences, and focus on what's good for Tennesseans. They want lawmakers to take a good hard look at things like education, healthcare, and gun violence.
Growing up in the church, you understand what faith is. And faith is action. Faith is moving forward.
Well, tonight they're asking community members to get more involved, reaching out to their representatives on issues that matter to them. Trying to stay ahead in the SEC, why the Gators were too much to handle for the Commodores.
And hoping to heat up a cold case, the factors making solving Franklin's only unsolved murder investigation so difficult.
Vanderbilt men's basketball team dropped out of the AP Top 25 this week following their loss to Oklahoma. However, the Doors had a chance to improve their ranking tonight, taking on 6th-ranked Florida Gators on the road. Vandy head coach Mark Byington and the Commodores found themselves in a full-on back-and-forth battle the first 20 minutes. It included 8 ties and 7 lead changes. Gators, however, started to pull away in the second half as senior guard Will Richard was on fire down in the swamp, finished with a game-high 21 points, while the rest of the team, yeah, they shot pretty well too, 57% from the floor. The Commodores did the best they could defensively, even cut the lead down to 2, but Gators made 10 of 11 shots in a 9-minute span and eventually put the game out of reach. Vandy loses its second straight, 86-75, and will now get ready to host Texas on Saturday. Tennessee Titans adding to their coaching staff today, announcing that Travis Smith will be the team's new defensive run game coordinator. Smith spent the last 3 seasons as the defensive line coach for the Chicago Bears, where just 2 years ago they led the league in fewest rushing yards allowed. Back in 2022, it was the Titans that finished atop of the league in run defense, but since then they've gone the other direction and this year finished in the bottom 10. Super Bowl 59 just 5 days away, and the Kansas City Chiefs are still 1.5-point favorites to win their 3rd straight title. Except the Philadelphia Eagles have an X factor this season, and he's been running right past defenses since the start of the year. Running back Saquon Barkley decided to come to Philly in the offseason after spending 6 miserable years with the New York Giants, and the move finally paid off for him. The 27-year-old finished the regular season with over 2,000 yards rushing and 13 touchdowns as he helped lead the Eagles to the Super Bowl game in his first year on the team.
I mean, me and my family literally, had a sheet and did pros and cons, and the only con about Philly was I might get some slack because I played in New York. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Don't forget, the big game is kicking off right here on Fox 17 this Sunday, 5:30. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. We'll have you covered. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Coming up, we'll talk more about our strong thunderstorm threat going into tomorrow and what we could see as we head more into next week.
There's very little physical evidence.
And a plea to help solve Franklin's only unsolved murder case. In Operation Crime and Justice, a fresh look at an old murder case. In fact, it is the only cold case murder in Franklin history. And while it happened 34 years ago this week, the pain for Peggy Cox's family is still fresh.
We know you're still out there, and people know what happened, and we really would appreciate some help with this.
That's Desiree Cox talking about the person who shot her mother to death on her 49th birthday. It was February 1991. Peggy Cox was working the evening shift here at the Hardee's on Murfreesboro Road near I-65 in Franklin. She took an order from a man in the drive-thru, but when he pulled around, instead of paying for his meal, he shot her in the head and then drove away.
One of the vehicles that we looked for the past 34 years is a light-colored Nissan Sentra, possibly a late 80s model, with a personalized license plate of Liz or Lisa.
Police have never been able to find that car. If there were bullet casings, detectives believe they drove off with the killer. Like the Cox family, this case haunts Franklin police.
Even though it's been 34 years ago, the men and women of the Franklin Police Department have never forgotten Peggy Cox. We don't want the public to forget her either.
Detectives continue to follow leads, but they are few and far between.
A lot of these cold cases through the years, you get hit on DNA databases or fingerprints or something like that. In this case, like I said, because of the nature of the vehicle leaving the scene, we don't really have that.
Nothing about this case is ideal, but Peggy Cox's children deserve answers.
I would like to know what really happened that day, what went on, why, you did this to my mother.
Peggy Cox's son was working at the Hardee's that night with his mom. He found her and he called 911. A $26,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to an arrest in the case. If you can help, call Franklin Police.
Well, looking ahead to tomorrow, and Fox 17 News investigates school vouchers. Tennessee lawmakers just passing the plan during a special legislative session. Now some parents will get to use public dollars for private school education, but critics argue the program will not make a difference for a lot of Tennesseans.
Would you be able to afford the difference?
No, and coming from a 2-salary household where we make 6 figures and we can't afford it, I can only imagine other families not being able to afford it. The idea of choice is not real, because if it truly was a choice, then everyone would be able to take advantage of it.
How much will it actually help, and who can take advantage of the program? That's Wednesday on Fox 17 News at 9.
Well, we look tonight to a mainly dry sky, mostly cloudy sky. Much Metro Center looking nice and quiet. But as we get into tomorrow, we will be again tracking the potential for a few strong thunderstorms in the afternoon. I have this zoomed out just because I want to show you how kind of small it is in nature. Couldn't find the word. Small will work. But we zoom in and you can see that it really is a very tiny area on the map, including much of Middle Tennessee and into southern Kentucky. Damaging winds, the potential for some hail, and maybe a spin-up tornado. It's possible. There's enough rotation in the atmosphere that we need to keep our eye on it. We're not expecting a lot of severe weather, but 1 or 2 thunderstorms could be on the strong side, so we need to be weather aware. And one of the reasons why is because we have this warm front that'll be lifting northward as we head into the afternoon. Now, sometimes along this warm front, we can see some storms spin. So as this warm front pushes northward going into the afternoon hours, we'll need to watch for a couple of those storms if they pop up. It's still conditional at this point. As we go through Wednesday night, this batch of storms will clear, and then as we get into Thursday morning, another one will move in. This one will also have the potential for a few stronger thunderstorms, I believe, mainly along the front. These will likely be scattered showers for the morning. But as we get into the afternoon, midday, early evening, we're expecting temperatures to be a little bit warmer for tomorrow afternoon as well. It could lead to a stray strong thunderstorm again. This is through the evening. Notice that the front continues to push through and makes its way to the southern border of Tennessee, but doesn't completely exit the state. That will actually play a role in our weather for Friday. I think we keep skies mostly cloudy for the day on Friday. Maybe a few showers. Severe weather not going to be a problem for us. We get into Friday night, early Saturday, another warm front lifts in, and that's going to push temperatures by Saturday in the mid-70s. Most of the day on Saturday appears dry, but as we get into Saturday night, early Sunday, more showers and storms will form along that front, and this will likely be for Saturday night into Sunday, the potential for a few more strong thunderstorms. So we're watching all of this as we head through the next several days. The chance for stormy weather here Wednesday, Thursday, and again Saturday into Sunday. Next week, although we do have rain chances, we're going to flip the script a little bit here. We keep an above average or active pattern around here, looking at the next 6 to 10 days. So this takes us up to Valentine's Day on the 14th. Notice that we're looking at above average precipitation, but the temperatures are going to be turning much colder come Sunday. So severe weather will go out the window, and then we'll be looking at the potential for colder air to move in. Then the question becomes, what about any winter weather? I can't say that it's a zero chance, but for now we'll call it a low chance, basically between the 11th through the 15th. Some models are hinting at the potential for a few little bouts of winter weather. Right now it doesn't look too impactful, so we'll keep an eye on it. If it becomes a problem, we'll let you know. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We're kind of up and down as far as temperatures go, and storms and rain showers galore.
2 arrests connected to the deadly mid-air collision last week. The charges tonight.
And ready to pay up how much Super Bowl snacks will cost you this year.
Sports fans know it already. The Super Bowl is Sunday between the Kansas City Chiefs and, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles. And some of those fans are already hard at work working on the snack menu.
It's important. Fox News' Chanley Painter shows us what you can expect to find while shopping and just how much it'll cost you this year.
I don't care. With the countdown to Super Bowl 59 ticking away, sports fans are busy stocking up on all their game day favorites.
So what's on the menu?
Oh, chips, salsa. And while plates will be stacked with snacks, the mighty chicken wing may reign supreme. The National Chicken Council estimates Americans will eat a staggering 1.47 billion of them on February 9th. But as bouts of bird flu have been impacting populations of egg-laying chickens, livestock experts say the virus hasn't found the supply of wings heading for ovens, grills, and fryers.
We're actually producing more chicken now than we were a year ago at this time.
Meanwhile, when it comes to the cost of throwing a Super Bowl party, economists with Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute say the average gathering will only increase about 10 cents from last year. Foods giving you more bang for your buck may include dippable veggies like celery and broccoli. Potato chips and frozen pizzas and shrimp have also seen price decreases. This according to data from Nielsen IQ, which tracks food products scanned at stores nationwide. But if you're looking for guacamole, fresh avocados have skyrocketed by almost 12% compared to last year. Adult beverages like beer and wine have also gone up by about 2%. The Wells Fargo data estimates a Super Bowl party menu for 10 people will likely set you back around $139. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
Arrest made in connection with last week's mid-air collision in D.C. The charges 2 people on the ground are facing tonight.
In Operation Crime and Justice, 2 airport employees in trouble tonight because of what police say they did after last week's deadly mid-air collision in Washington, D.C.
Now, police say they leaked video that shows the crash. They are charged with making an unauthorized copy of the airport authorities' records, which is a misdemeanor.
Well, airport authorities did not specify how they got the footage or distributed it. The viral video aired by news outlets shows the moment an American Airlines passenger jet and the U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter collided, killing 67 people.
I'm Angela Brown in Washington, D.C. Do you have a secret bank account, a secret credit card that you're hiding from your partner? Why experts say financial infidelity is on the rise.
Heading into the biggest betting day of the year, I'm Liz Bonus. What those who manage gambling addiction hotlines want us to know about sports betting. It is just ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with a Fox 17 Code Red weather alert because of the chance of strong thunderstorms that will be starting in the next 24 hours.
Well, Fox 17 Code Red Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan here tonight with what we can expect.
Tomorrow afternoon, mainly after about 3 o'clock or so into about 9 p.m., a couple thunderstorms will be possible.